Okay, I want to start this unplugged section of our show with a video. I normally don't do that, but I want to show this video, and then I'm going to tell you about all the pieces to this video. It's Steve Scalise, who is I think he's the minority whip now in the House. He's the gentleman from Louisiana that was shot at the softball game, if you remember that, years ago. And he's a conservative guy. And he's part of the House leadership on the Republican side. He made an impassioned speech about the $1.2 trillion infrastructure package that 13 of his colleagues, 13 Republicans, voted for, or it wouldn't have passed. And I've been saying on this show, I've covered this a few times, that the numbers don't add up for me. I want you to watch the video, and then I'm going to try to fill in the blanks, and I'm going to ask some real hard questions about this. Roll the tape.
Of course, we just got the text last night, over 2,300 pages. And as we've been combing through, I'd like to point out a few pieces in this bill. Let's start with a natural gas tax. President Biden promised that anyone who makes less than $400,000 a year won't spend a dime, will not pay a dime in new taxes. He even whispers it into the microphone. The only problem is he breaks the promise right here in the bill, a tax that, according to the American Gas Association, will increase household electricity rates by 30%. And by the way, that's low-income families that pay that tax the hardest. Broken promise by President Biden right there. Then you go down and you look at amnesty. It's been talked about. Millions of additional people will get amnesty in this bill. And it comes at a time where President Biden is negotiating. Initially, he said he wasn't, and then the White House had to go back up and say the Justice Department is negotiating $500,000 checks to people who came across our border illegally, and then they're going to give amnesty to millions more people. Estimates are 7 million more people. Can you imagine the flood that will come over when they hear that you can get $500,000 a person if President Biden gets his way? Then you go down the line. There's more, unfortunately. Let's look at, we'll comb through, IRS agents. How many of us have our phones ringing off the hooks with people calling saying, please add 87,000 more IRS agents to the rolls? Not one of us has probably gotten that call, yet they put it in the bill. They call this infrastructure. They call this equity, whatever they want to call it. It's an army of IRS agents that are going to come for your bank account.
Gentleman's recognized. 1 minute.
They're going to be combing through your bank account. And why? Because they've got to generate hundreds of billions of dollars to spend on more inflation-inducing spending. That's right. According to this Penn Wharton account, you're going to have over $4 trillion of spending with $1.5 trillion of new taxes. By the way, that's $2.5 trillion of additional debt, even though the president says there's no cost, just $2.5 trillion of debt. But these IRS agents are going to have to account for over $200 billion to find money from your checking accounts. That's what they're trying to do at dark of night. We started the morning at 8 a.m. We're here after 9 p.m. starting to get into the details of this bill. No wonder they don't want a CBO score. No wonder they want to do this by dark of night. This is going to induce more inflation that's hurting families all across America. Listen to what the voters of Virginia said. Stop the this madness. Defeat this bill. I yield back the balance of my time.
Okay, so I did not have Holden play that video just so we could become very political and back Steve Scalise. What I wanted to play the video for was to give you a little bit of a sense that I've said now for the last 3 shows that I can't add these numbers up, okay? 1.2 trillion that was passed, I get to about 700 billion, 1.2 trillion, okay? I can't get to 1.2 trillion based on bridges, roads, infrastructure, and all the stuff. So I'm like, where is the delta here? What is the differential? if any of this is true, this is really a big mess because, as I've mentioned over and over and over, we can't afford this bill. When politicians, no matter if they're Democrat or Republican, tell you, the American public, the taxpayer, that this is paid for, that's BS at the highest levels. It doesn't work that way, okay? If it worked that way from 1992 to now, we'd still have a $4 trillion debt. We have $29 trillion and counting, and by the time that these bills are done and totally calculated, this is going to be a mess. Now, 13 Republicans voted for this, okay? Some of the Republicans and their complaints on their colleagues bug me as much as this stuff. Well, you shouldn't have given Joe Biden a victory, and we had him on the ropes, and we had... That's not what our country's supposed to be about. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be representing the American people, okay? So I hate that on the other side, that, oh, we shouldn't have given him a victory. That's garbage. One of the Republicans, Don Young, this guy's a beauty, okay? He's from Alaska. He should stay in Alaska, all right? He should become an Eskimo. He's been in Congress and he quotes, our country is an economic power. Well, why the hell did you vote for this, okay? Well, our country's an economic power. He says the bill is not perfect, but few pieces of legislation are. We cannot sacrifice the good for the perfect. I mean, this guy needs to find a new job, okay? You're up there and you need to be able to represent the United States of America as a representative of your district, as a representative of Alaska, and do what is right in the country's interest. Oh, well, we need these roads and we need this and we need that. All right, Don, what about this other, appears to be $500 billion worth of stuff? IRS agents and new taxes and all this other stuff that I'm going to cover in a minute. What about that, Don? Okay? And you had 13 of them. 4 or 5 from the state of New York. Okay? Well, we need this infrastructure. Well, why don't you just pass an infrastructure bill? And here's a problem that I have. When the Senate sends a piece of legislation to the House that they have passed, okay, and they did that 3 months ago, and the House then makes changes, does it not go back to the Senate? I'm really confused about this. I thought I understood how the interfacing of the Senate and the House of Representatives works. If the Senate passes something, this is Mitch McConnell voted for this, okay? I can guarantee to you he didn't vote for 87,000 new IRS agents. He didn't vote for more taxes. He didn't vote for that, okay? The problem that I have is the process is broken down. Now, let's get to the media. I have killed myself to try to get to the bottom of this in terms of what is actually in this damn bill, all right? There's no clear answer. I mean, the media just reports about the politics of it, okay? They don't report about, all right, what's in the bill, how much does it cost, how much is it going to add to the debt, and how the hell are we going to pay for it? I thought that's the reason that the media exists in the first place, is that they're supposed to hold our politicians, you know, Republican or Democrat or independent, they're supposed to hold them accountable. Where's the accountability here? I mean, it's just unbelievable. So let me just cover, again, the 4 ads that Steve Scalise, who knows more than me, says are in this bill. The addition of 87,000 IRS agents, like we need more IRS agents, okay? 87,000, all right? Has this been approved by the Senate? This is my whole point. Did Mitch McConnell vote for this? I don't think so. But now the president's going to sign the bill on Monday. I thought that if one section of the Congress passes something and it gets changed, it goes back to the people that passed it so they can look at the changes. Is that not occurring? Or is this even real? I can't answer it, but I'm going to get to the bottom of it. 8 million illegals are going to get amnesty according to what I'm reading as it relates to this bill. 8 million people get amnesty, okay? Forget about getting paid, separation, Donald Trump, the bad guy at the border. He wasn't the bad guy at the border. They were in cages, God forbid, and you feel bad for these people, okay? If they're that desperate, you really have to feel for them. But Obama started this, okay? But it's covered differently by the mainstream media depending on who's doing it. a tax that would increase household electricity by 30%. That's death to a family of four that's living month to month trying to build their family, little kids. Okay? You add that to the gas problem at the pump, you add it to the problem of inflation at the grocery store. How in the hell are these people going to make that work? Is that really part of this bill? And then the last one, I can't even get a definition on, Sarah. Giveaways to the union bosses. What the hell is that? Okay? What the hell are we doing here? I just want to know, is this the bill that Mitch McConnell and I believe over a dozen Republican senators voted for?
I hope not. I hope that they read it and took the time to actually go through and they would have found all of those issues.
But you get the point, though.
Yeah.
The point is, if they pass something in the Senate and then it gets changed in the House,
It has to go
doesn't
back.
it go back to the Senate?
It should.
Well, it looks to me like it's going to the president on Monday, where he's going to have a big party at the White House on something that the infrastructure side of things, the pure infrastructure side, there's probably a need. We got to figure out how we're going to pay for it. Okay? But there's probably a need. But all this extra BS, if it's really in the bill, and I'm not going to stop till I find out a specific answer. I went, Sarah, to every damn website on the planet Earth, and nobody can report, strategically and with confidence of what actually was in this 1.2.
Right.
I mean, who the hell knows this?
I wonder if you could get a copy of the bill, because all of that should be public.
It's all out there, but you got to print 2,300 pages.
Yeah.
And if I did that, all my people would think I'm really nuts.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, the bottom line is, you got people that are being paid with the networks and the cable companies millions of dollars a year to be reporters.
Right.
Get the damn answer to this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't you think we ought to know?
I think so. The public needs to know why all of their money is going out of their pocketbooks to the government.
All right. Stay on it.
Unbelievable. All right.
All right.